Alright, Turtles fans, so here on the channel we've broken down and geeked over the 1987 Ninja Turtles cartoon intro in a past video. It was a video I did a couple months back, and yeah, it's a pretty badass opening to a show. Super memorable, super nostalgic, everybody knows it. But today I want to keep going down the line and review another Ninja Turtles intro, and eventually keep going and do all of them. It's just a fun project I want to do here on the channel. Just go through them bit by bit, break them down, and just kind of give my thoughts and opinions on them. Now, the one I want to do today is a fan favorite. I don't talk about it much here on the channel, but I do plan to cover it more down the road as we go on. The 2003 TMNT series, especially the first couple seasons, rivals all other animated incarnations of the Turtles as the best in the franchise. The first couple seasons are solid. The show is pretty great, and today we're gonna dive into the sewers, grab a slice of pizza, and break down the intro to the 2003 animated series TMNT. Okay, so the opening shot was always funny to me. Here, well, let's get it started a little bit. Okay, so the opening shot was always funny to me. The CG generated TMNT letters always felt a little out of place, but looking back on it now, it's pretty awesome. It gives you those early 2000s vibes that you don't really get anymore. The music as well is pretty early 2000s. The screaming electric guitar. This intro has definitely grown on me over the years. Now the opening crossfades to the Turtles in the shadows standing on top of a building. As a teenager, which is how old I was when this came out, I remember digging the designs of these turtles. I thought, man, yeah, they look like the 87 cartoon turtles, but just a little more mature. It was awesome to see the longer headbands. We'll talk about that on a separate video, but yeah, I remember loving these turtles. Let's keep going here. Okay, so we get the 1, 2, 3, 4 turtles. They look great, and we get a pretty cool look at Leo handling business on a rooftop with some foot soldiers. Then we get Donnie flying through the sewers, Mikey on top of the battle shell, and finally Raph busting out the back in what I believe was the first time we've seen him like on a motorcycle. Like that was his thing now, if I'm not mistaken, which future versions of Raphael would also adopt. It became kind of a staple of his character for a while. I guess riding a motorcycle emphasized he was the bad boy of the group, which, okay.
Hey, Cunningham, which is cooler? The mirror's up like this in an angle, or down like this straight?
Alright, let's take a look here. Let me take it back there a little bit. Okay, so Turtles counted off again. We start with another countdown, which is kind of like the theme of this intro, which is pretty cool. The Turtles listening to Splinter sitting down, Splinter fighting some Mousers, the purple dragons rolling up, and then it finishes with April in a helicopter picking up Donnie from Shredder's place, which pretty cool. All right, let's take it back a little bit, and then we'll pick it up here. Okay. So we got some cool scenes there of the Turtles being surrounded by the foot, also some cool moves of them jumping down, and it's capped off though with, at the time, our first look at Casey Jones, which great design by the way. Maybe I'll talk about that sometime as well. The music that it goes into right after this part is probably my favorite of the whole intro. The I love being a turtle part, I don't know, just super catchy. Here we go, I'll play it for you right here. Let me take it back a little bit again. Super catchy. You can see the turtle silhouettes jumping on rooftops, and it cuts all of them landing on a roof, and then it goes into another countdown. So here, let's do that real quick.
Count it off. 1, 2, 3, 4 turtles. There's no one better. Watch out for Shredder. They're like no others.
Okay, so yeah, we get a quick little one more, 1, 2, 3, 4. All the turtles' faces show up. They look great, and I always loved this Shredder and this kind of shot of him, and I like the shot right after where the turtles are like finally together, like in like their individual stances, but all together. I always felt like they should do a scene like this in a movie, kind of like the Avengers, where like that first one where the camera goes around them and stuff. Haven't really got that yet in like a modern Turtles movie, or yeah, that would be kind of cool to see all the turtles in the camera just maybe like going or panning around them and stuff. Okay, this final scene here with turtles in the tunnel here. Let's take a look. Okay, so this scene of the turtles riding through the tunnels, even back then, felt super early 2000s. The scooters, the bikes, I think Raph's on rollerblades, and then one of them's on a skateboard. The skateboard, I don't mind, but yeah, everything else, it always reminded me of like the old PS1 game, Too Extreme. I always wish they would have just been riding skateboards. I feel like skateboards is more just like the Turtles thing. But I remember even back then as a kid thinking they were trying to capitalize off of like the popularity of like extreme sports, which was like kind of like, if I'm remembering correctly, like really popular back then. Are you kidding me? And then the turtles land on the rooftop, and we get the title card with like with the logo of the series, which we'll talk about in a second. Now, this intro went through some changes over the seasons. Little things here and there changed in the intro as, you know, the seasons went on. We went to the 4Kids TV, and stuff just changed a little bit. Changes to the lyrics, changes to some of the graphics. In future versions, we actually got introductions to the turtle, which I don't believe we got in this first version.
Leonardo's always in control. The wise guy is Michelangelo.
And also at the opening, the very opening, they added the logo that appears at the end of this one, but they added it at the beginning in the water underneath the TMNT that's in like the skyline, which I thought was okay. It was a nice touch, but it was kind of weird because it's like it just says TMNT twice, sort of, if you think about it. But they did that logo. I think they were just trying to like ingrain it in like kids' minds and stuff. We get a similar countdown with the turtles' faces showing up like we did in the very first intro, but they look the way the turtles ended up looking later on, which in my opinion was not as good as the original. They look all angular, and yeah, they look so much better in that first one. We got a look at some different characters. Hun breaking the table, which this change was kind of nice. Also, I found as a good addition was the Casey, April, and Splinter coming down and kicking some ass. They all look super cool. April looks stealthy in the all black suit. And also what the newer versions did was they kind of updated you on what was the status of the Shredder at that point in time in the series, which I really liked, with Mikey saying, you know, they shredded Shredder at one point.
1, 2, 3, 4, turtles. There's no one better. We shredded Shredder.
And also with Karai replacing Shredder, so like there's a new Shredder and it's Karai.
Watch out for Shredder.
That was kind of cool. Nice touches that let you know where in the story you were jumping in on, if you were maybe like rewatching it or if you hadn't watched it in a while. That was nice. Now, we did get another version of the intro with some more changes, but nothing too noteworthy. Just more like 3D graphics were added. Donnie's riding a helicopter, but nothing too noteworthy. I always felt like the first one got it the best. They got it right. The look of the turtles, the feel of everything. I guess the turtles introductions was pretty cool as they changed it in future versions, but I didn't like the way they replaced some of the art with like the angular looking turtles. Even back then that kind of upset me, I remember. I never understood why they had changed them, but that's a topic for another video. But yeah, that's pretty much it on the 2003 TMNT intro. There's the fast forward and the back to the sewers intros, but I believe those deserve their own videos. We'll come back and touch on those. Don't worry, there's just so much to pick apart in those that I feel like they just require their own video. But let me know down below, when it comes to the 2003 series, do you think they had the best intro in the franchise? Let me know down below. And if not, which one is your #1 pick for the best intro? But that's it for this one. If you're not subscribed and want more TMNT content in your life, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Take care, everyone. That's it for this one. We'll see you in a little bit with another one. Take care.